So guys, this is it. As we expected, unfortunately, the British Interior Minister Priti Patel, she approved today to extradite the co-founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, to the United States to face criminal charges, including spying charge for releasing and publishing confidential US military records and diplomatic cables, which proved that the United States committed war crimes in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and we know, thanks to WikiLeaks, that the United States planned the regime change war in Syria and then also cooperated with the Islamists, including Al Qaeda. We know, thanks to WikiLeaks, that in Libya, the United States and other NATO countries, they intervened there and they destroyed the country in order to deprive the Libyans from their oil and also from the gold that Gaddafi was planning to use in order to create a unified golden currency for the entire African continent, which means the African continent would be finally independent from foreign interventions, influence, colonialism, that up until this moment, Africa is colonized, whether directly or not. Even if the armies have left of the colonizers from some of the countries in Africa, but still many of the African countries are colonized through the companies that have ties to the governments. France, in Nigeria, many countries are still in Africa. They are looting the natural resources, including gold, including diamond, including other very necessary materials that the Europeans and other colonizers need. And I'm talking about the governments, not the ordinary people, in order to keep their economies intact. And but now, as we can see, when the war erupted in Ukraine, the economies have been shaken, and now they need more of these resources to keep their current status in whether it's the United States or in Europe. But if we want to talk about the issue of Julian Assange, look, I'm not surprised at all that they want to extradite him. It really, of course, hurts me, and I cannot do a lot about it except talking and shedding light and also spreading the awareness to the people that what Julian Assange did, he didn't hack these documents, but rather he published the documents that he received, and this is what the publisher do, including other, by the way, American and British outlets. They also published these documents, but they weren't charged of criminal, let's say, counts or criminal charges. Julian Assange, because he had an instrumental role in WikiLeaks and because he exposed the dirty face of the imperialism of the United States in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, in Northern Africa, in many other places, that through leaking the secret emails, the let's say the diplomatic cables, etc., etc. What bothers me today the most is not that the UK is extraditing him, because this is expected. What do you expect from the current political regime in, or the system, whatever call it, in UK to do? Of course, they will extradite him to the United States. But what bothers me is that the left in Europe and in the West in general are so weak nowadays that the true left wingers are demonized by the fake left wingers. For example, in Germany, you have some part of the left party or the Linke. They are really anti-imperialist and they are vilified. They are fought against on daily basis, either through the media and through the so-called left-wing activists that belong to the so-called Green Party, who are everything but a left party, right? And then you have anti-imperialists vilified in the UK, anti-imperialists vilified in the United States, and to break this left-wing anti-imperialist scene, they poisoned the brains of the youngsters, whether it's in Europe or in the United States, with intra-conflicts. They created the identity politics, they created the gender identities, etc., etc. Nowadays, an average American young person, and I'm not generalizing, but you can see it nowadays on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever. They're talking about the pronouns, the gender identities, and you misgendered me. Oh my God, I'm offended. oh my God, look at this guy, he's looking at me, I feel offended, I need safe places, etc., etc., etc. It has become like, it's not a coincidence. They are trying to break the left-wing scene, and they are succeeding. Like, into extent that anyone who in the United States and in Europe who comes with a genuine, let's say, left-wing agenda, they will be called lots of names like anti-Semite, they will be called conspiracy theorists, they will be called that they have lost their minds. In Germany, they call them querdenkers, etc., etc. This is all to delegitimize any political activism that these people do to balance this political scene that is extremely shifting to one side. Even the so-called mainstream left-wing parties are joining the imperialist lines, right? And nowadays, we are in June, and we will see the pride parades, right, including here in Berlin. And I have like nothing against it at all. In the contrary, I have friends who are homosexuals, and they're going to participate in these pride parades, and I wholeheartedly support their cause, because what they believe in, I defend what they believe in, these guys, right? Do I agree with them? This is something else. Because for me, everyone has the right to live however it wants to live, as long as they're not harming others. And when they harm others, for example, the so-called doctors in the United States, they're trying to indoctrinate the kids, that they're confusing their gender identities, and they even promote for trans, let's say, operations, etc., among kids, minors, right? This is, of course, I'm against this stuff. I'm just saying that if someone wants to live in this way and he's not harming others and not trying to impose his lifestyle on others, it's completely fine. But the point here is, you will see tens of thousands of people, they will go out and they will ask, or they will celebrate, and they will ask for more rights, etc., etc. And you will not see maybe tens of people protesting and demonstrating for Julian Assange, who represents, for many people around the world, and especially for the journalist, an idol for a publisher, a journalist who had no fear to expose and publish information that could also put his life in risk. So for me, Julian Assange is an idol, and I would like to see tens of thousands of people protesting in the UK, especially, to stop the extradition, but I don't really expect that. You will see maximum few thousand people if Jeremy Corbyn and others call for protest. And then if you compare it with the Pride demos, you will see tens of thousands of people. So that's why I think the left wing is unfortunately dying. And when it dies in Europe and in the United States, it also reflects on the rest of the world. In Syria, for example, and in the Middle East, the left wing has been hijacked by Qatar, who is the leading force for the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood forces, which is a right-wing fascist ideology. And they attracted the so-called leftists, the mainstream left-wingers. They support them, they give them platforms, they let them publish, and then they pump them with their money. Like, for example, if you publish for Al Jazeera a very small article, you get $400 for that. Right? If you participate in a show on Al Jazeera, you could be paid up to $4,000 for a show. So of course, if you bring someone from Syria, from Lebanon, who is passing through an economic crisis, and he's left wing, and you try to persuade him and spoil him with money and etc., lots of weak people will follow you. And this is what's happening now also in the Middle East. The left wing is also being destroyed in Europe, in the United States, and unfortunately we're not going to we're not on the right track. I just wanted to make this quick video for you. I'm very angry, and I know I can't do anything about it. And I just hope, if anyone is watching from the UK, to participate in any demonstration, in any protest to stop the extradition of the co-founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. See you next time.